Hello guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Kiki and it is time to make crafting fun. DIY number 1.
Now to make our cones, we're gonna take one of those poster boards and we're gonna measure it in the middle. It doesn't have to be perfect. Make a triangle, cut those flaps of the triangle, and then we're gonna start rolling it on itself. But first I'm gonna get a little bit of tape and save it on the side of my table for when I get my cone. And this is what I was telling you. We're gonna wrap it around itself and then we're gonna add the tape. In the description box down below, I'm gonna leave you a link to my friend Yesenia's channel and also to her video so you can go and see how she explained it, because I know I didn't do it justice. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut a little bit more tape and just secure that cone like that. We're gonna make 3. One is the big one, and this big one I want to make it out of ribbon, and for that I'm just cutting some ribbon, and I'm using like 3 to 4 inches of ribbon, and I'm gonna cut a lot of those pieces. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a strip of hot glue, fold it in the middle, glue it together, and set it aside. And we're gonna do lots of those. And we're gonna continue doing that because those would be around our tree. So we're gonna do a lot of those thingies, loops. And then we're gonna add hot glue to those loops and we're gonna glue them to our tree. And I'm starting in the back part because if I don't get them to go really nicely together, that won't be showing. So we're gonna continue just gluing them together like so. And in the bottom you can add some of that ribbon and cover the bottom part, but I decided to add another row below this one. So we're gonna continue just gluing them. And now I'm gluing them in between the first 2. Let me show you. In between of those. And we're going to continue gluing them until we cover all of our cone. Just like that. We continue gluing them. We're going to cover our cone like that until we reach the top. And now that we have reached the top, I'm gonna cover the tip of that with a little bit of that same beautiful ribbon, and I'm just gluing it all around the tip of the cone. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take 2 of those loops and I'm gonna glue one in the front like that and one of them in the back, just like that. When we have it, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a star that you will see now, one of those stars, and I'm gonna cut the top part. I'm just measuring it so I know how I want to place it, and then I'm gonna cut that part with my pliers. And just like that, we have a beautiful metal star that we will add a little bit of hot glue and glue it to the top. This is how it's looking. You can stop here, but you know me, I have to go extra. I don't have a pipberry garland in white, so I'm just making a shellberry garland. I'm just trying to recreate the pipberry garland by doing it on twine and using this small seashells. Yeah, I know. I'm extra just like that. Too extra. And I'm gonna continue gluing my shells to my twine until I reach the end of the twine. If you have the small cute pipberry garland in white, just go ahead and glue that one. But I had to improvise. Now I'm just gluing it around the Christmas tree, and I just think this adds beautiful touch to this awesome ribbon cone tree. And look at that, it's looking beautiful. And that will be it. After you finish with that, that will be it. A beautiful Christmas tree.
If you like modern farmhouse boho decor and lots of silly jokes, that's what I do here, so subscribe and click on the bell so you can get notified every time I upload a new video. Also, hit the thumbs up if you like this one and share this video with a friend because that really helps to support my channel. Here's my social media, go and check me out. DIY number 2.
For our rope cone, we're going to use a cone, the medium one, and we're going to use rope and pipberry, and we're also going to use a star. First thing, we're going to start in the top, and this was a mistake. So start in the bottom and you will have an easier time doing this. But I started at the top, and you will see the struggle was real. So I'm going to add hot glue and wrap around my rope, and as you will see in a couple of seconds, my rope will start flying. It will become undone and I will have to glue it again. There, you saw that. And we're going to continue wrapping after I solve that issue. So we're going to continue wrapping our rope all around our cone just like that. Then we're going to take the second rope and we're going to continue where we left off. And these 2 ropes weren't enough, so I will be a little bit creative and you will see it a little bit later how I solved that issue. But for now, we're going to continue wrapping our rope around our cone. And now you will see what happened here. I don't have any more rope of that nautical rope, so I have to be creative. And my solution was mop strings. Yep. That's the way to solve it. And I'm going to add hot glue and I'm going to glue a couple of strings on the bottom. And I think that added a little bit something extra to this cone because that mop looks beautiful. So we're going to continue wrapping it around until we reach the bottom of our beautiful tree. When we finish, we're going to glue it seamlessly. So we're going to cut it, and as you can see, I just push it down and you can't see where the mop stops. Now, I'm going to take this pipberry garland and I'm going to measure how much I need for my tree. And as you can see, I just wrapped it around my tree, my cone tree. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the excess of that pipberry garland. And I'm going to start gluing it on the top and then wrapping it around tightly, not too tight, but tightly. And we're going to add hot glue and we're going to press it down so we have it secured to our tree. So we're going to continue doing that until we reach the bottom of the tree. And for that, when we reach that bottom, we're going to add a little bit of hot glue, press it down, and we will have it nicely decorated. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one of the stars. And I'm going to use the black one. And I'm going to cut the top, add a little of hot glue, and that's it.
DIY number 3.
For our last cone, we're going to use the smallest of the cones, twine, pipberries, and we're going to use a star. And what we're going to do is we're going to start gluing in the bottom a line of hot glue and being really careful because, you know, hot glue and fingers, they just don't get along. And we're going to continue doing that and wrapping that twine around the bottom. And then I'm going to continue wrapping it around my cone and adding a little bit of hot glue here and there. We are going to continue and I'm going to show you a better way to wrap the twine. I just want you to see how the twine starts to look when we're wrapping it. But after I show you this, I'm going to show you the best way to wrap your twine around the cone. And this is it. You just need to go around your cone just like that. And you just go until you get to the top. Then we're going to continue wrapping until we cover that tip of that cone. We wrap that twine around and then we cut the excess. Glue it and really carefully, glue it really nicely Then this is how it's looking. Now we're gonna take the pipberry garland and we're gonna measure how much we need, being careful that we don't push around our twine too much. We cut the excess and then we're gonna add a little bit of hot glue in the top and we're gonna start wrapping it around and adding hot glue here and there to secure our twine. Our garland. And we're gonna continue wrapping it around and adding hot glue, and in the bottom what we're gonna do is the same. We add a little bit of hot glue and then we're gonna add our star and double it. And this is how all of them turned out.
DIY number 4.
We're gonna use stir sticks, and as you can see I have many lengths over here, but don't worry because I'm gonna leave you in the description box down below the measurements for all of these pieces so you can make your own. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dry fit them into my longer or complete stir stick so I know where I want them, and I want to leave a space on the bottom so I can attach it to the base. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start hot gluing them to the middle, and as you can see we have 45-degree angle pieces over here that I'm gluing together to make kind of the Christmas tree branches going down, just like that. So we're gonna continue gluing them until we have all of them glued like this. And then we're gonna grab a star and we're gonna glue the star to the handle of our stir stick, just to cover it and make this tree look beautiful. Now, we are gonna embellish this a little bit later, but first we're gonna paint that star using Snow White, white, white paint, and we're gonna paint it completely like this. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna let it dry a little bit and we're gonna come back with caulk and we're gonna make faux snow. And for that, well, I'm having issues with my caulk. But after I clean that tip of the little nozzle that it has, we're gonna start piping it to our wood. And as you can see, the first one I made a straight line going across my stir stick. Now I'm just making a couple of lines on the other stick, and then I'm gonna come back, and I'm having issues because I have a little bit of caulk. So I'm gonna do the same in the other side. Now we have it and we're gonna let it dry a little bit, and then we're gonna come back with this pine kind of thingies that I have from some picks that I had from last year from Walmart, and I'm gonna glue those in the middle like that in between my stir sticks. And just like that, we're gonna continue adding them like so. So we are filling those gaps in between our stir sticks. Just like that. Now let me arrange this one because it was looking down. Now I'm gonna take these picks that I found at Walmart this year. Those were the only ones I found. And I only have like 2 of them. So I'm gonna cut pieces of those and I'm gonna add them on top of my pine thingies. Oh, pine branches. So I'm gonna add those on top of my pine branches. And I'm adding a little bit more of those little snowy balls that it has, so I can make that a little bit more snowy. Then after I finish adding that, I'm gonna continue add all of them, and then I try to add a little bit something else to the top, but we're gonna work on that a little bit later. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this, look, it's looking beautiful, and I'm gonna add a wood slice and a wood cube. I'm gonna add that wood cube to the back of the longer stir stick like this, so the hot glue has a lot more space to glue to our wood round, like that. And now let's make this extra. You could stop when we added it to the base, but you know me, I need to add the extra cuteness. So I'm gonna start adding some of those picks, the pieces of the picks, to the middle in between my stir stick, my first stir stick, and my star. because it needed that extra touch. I know I'm extra. So I'm gonna continue adding leaves and those pine branches like that. And then I'm gonna add a bow because if you're going the extra mile, we're gonna go the extra mile on this. So I'm gonna make my bow like that and I'm gonna glue that. First, let me make some legs for my bow. And we're gonna glue the legs first and then I'm gonna glue my bow there. And then I'm gonna add a snowball to the middle and that's it. We have an extra Christmas tree. And this is how our Christmas tree turned out. As you can see, we have it over here. It's looking beautiful and it's so extra.
DIY number 5.
I'm gonna use this fabric, this thread, embroidery thread, and also these towels and those cute pots. Those are the smaller ones and I bought these ones for this. This is part from my stash. I have cream and I have that fabric and those needles that I bought for this project. So we're gonna use those needles with that thread and we're gonna use that for making a cute fabric topiary or a Christmas tree for the tabletop Christmas tree, something like that. So let's get started. First, we're gonna make our shapes on our fabric, just drawing a simple Christmas tree shape in one side because we're gonna fold it in half to cut it. And now I'm gonna take it and cut the shape out of my Christmas tree. After we finish, we're gonna have two sides, one from the front and one for the back of our Christmas tree. Keep on cutting just like that until we have everything cut and we have our shape. That's it. Now that I have my 3 shapes, I'm gonna start embroidering some stitches on my cream Christmas trees. And just like that, I'm gonna go all around the 2 cream Christmas trees. We're gonna keep on doing that on the 2 shapes, only on the front part. The back part, we're gonna leave it like that. This is how they look, and now they're ready to be sewn. And we're gonna leave a space to add our dowel. Now I'm gonna sew them on my machine, just like that. We're gonna sew all around it. And then, when we have everything sewn, like that, this is how it turns out. I have the small space to add my dowel and the fiber fill or polyfill, and I'm just getting that one set. Now I'm adding the fiber fill inside of them, and with a dowel I'm helping myself just to fill them really nicely. Keep on adding that fiber fill or polyfill just like that. And after you have them all filled, we're gonna add our dowel, some hot glue so we can close it, and then we're gonna add it to our small pot that it has some floral foam that I had left over. And then we're gonna add some of that fiber fill to the bottom to make it look like snow, and that's it. You have a cute tabletop Christmas tree. That's how it looks.
DIY number 6. Number 3, and we're gonna use one of this cardstock paper that I use, and we're gonna roll it like this. And you will see that I'm struggling a little bit because I wanted to do it on my table, and this is kind of hard when you do it like that. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut it like this all over like that. And we're going to cut it to make it just flat in the bottom so we have a cone that can stand. But first, I'm going to continue rolling it and gluing it so I have a cone. And then we're going to cut the excess like that. Glue it really well, and we can move on to decorating. And for that, I'm using this fluffy yarn that I got from Walmart. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it to the tip of my cone. I was going to say tree, but it's not a tree. It's not a tree anymore. Well, not yet. And I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue like that, and I'm going to start wrapping it to that cone. And then I'm going to wrap it around until I have covered every single space or completely of that cone. We're gonna just wrap that cone with that beautiful fluffy yarn. You can choose any color you want. I chose this one that I had at home. And when we get to the bottom of that cone, we're gonna add hot glue again, and we're gonna start just going around with that final lap of our beautiful yarn until we have covered everything. Then we secure it, and that's it. And look at this. They are looking so beautiful. I had to do two because I love them. Let me know what you think about these ones because I'm biased and I love them. DIY number 7.
We're going to use this wood slats, these steering sticks, you know I love them, from Walmart, and a piece from those wood slats. Now, we're going to make 2 different types of wooden trees. So let's get started. For our palette Christmas trees, we're going to use our steering sticks and we're going to cut them to the size that we want them, just like that. And we're going to cut pieces to our liking. As you can see, I'm cutting a couple of them and using the rest to the top. 1 piece for the bottom, 1 for the top part, and that's it. Now I'm adding another piece, and that will be it. Just like that. Now I cut it, and we have it complete, so we can start gluing it. Like that. Now with our hot glue, we're gonna start adding some E6000 in the center, and it will be a mix of E6000 and hot glue. As you can see, I'm adding both of them, and I will continue gluing them. I'm going to continue gluing that with my mix of E6000 and hot glue, just like that. And when I finish, I'm going to attach my trees to its base, and the base are the wood slats. I cut a piece of that. And I'm going to add some E6000 more hot glue, attach it, and then I'm going to take 2 of the pieces of the top of the steering stick, those ones, and I'm going to add 1 in the front, 1 in the back part to give it more stability and a cute look. And I'm just using hot glue for that one. After that's done, I'm going to start staining it with a mix of paint and water, and I'm gonna use burnt umber with water, mix it really nicely, and then start applying it like that. And we're gonna clean it using a paper towel. We're gonna apply it all over it, and then we're gonna use a stencil like this one from Walmart because I wanted to add some cute snowflakes. We're going to add lots of snowflakes to our beautiful tree, and that will be it. We will have a cute Christmas tree.
DIY number 8.
And now we take our wood slats and we're going to stain them like we did with our Christmas tree. And when we stain them, all of them, we're gonna start with the base, cutting our base from our steering sticks. And after that, we stain the base, let it dry, and then glue it together.
with some E6000 and hot glue. Just like that, I'm adding some E6000, some hot glue in the center, and gluing it together. Now we're gonna start painting our Christmas trees to our sign. And I'm not using a pattern or any stencil or anything. I'm just painting them like that, using some white paint. And after we finish with our Christmas tree, that will be it. We will have beautiful Christmas tree.
If you want to buy me some crafting supplies, you will find this link in the description box down below. You don't have to do that. You can support your favorite creator by watching, sharing, and liking their videos. But if you want to buy me crafting supplies, this link, you will find it in the description box down below, and you will get a shout out in my channel. DIY number 9.
First, we're going to take our dowels, as you see me here, and we're going to measure them with our wood piece. And then we're going to take some wood glue, and we're going to add some wood glue to the bottom of our dowel so we can glue that to the bottom or to the wood piece. And after we finish that, we're going to let it dry completely. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take that burlap you see there, and we're going to paint it. This is a quick and easy, beautiful DIY for your tabletop, and we're going to use for that to paint our burlap that leaf green paint, and we're going to paint it completely. We're going to paint 2 of those using that paint. We're going to continue painting until we finish. You don't have to give it a good coat. We just want to cover that on the green color. Now we're going to let them dry, and then we're going to work with a paint stirring stick and some antique wax, and I'm going to paint that using the antique wax, and then I'm going to wipe all the excess using a paper towel. As you see me here, I'm painting it, and then I'm going to take my paper towel like that and wipe off the excess. We paint it completely, and then we're going to let that dry. If you like what you see here, you can subscribe, because I will be making some of that decor and also boho and modern farmhouse. Now I'm going to cut 3 triangles, 2 of the green burlap and 1 on the natural color burlap. I'm cutting a green big one for the bigger dowel, and I'm cutting a small one for my smaller dowel. And then I'm going to take the brown burlap or the natural colored burlap, and I'm going to cut a medium triangle for my medium dowel. Just like that. We cut them completely. And then we're going to add some hot glue to our dowels. But first, we're going to paint our letters with Snow White apple barrel acrylic paint. And what we're going to paint here, or right here, it's "Oh Christmas Tree." And as you see me, I am just writing that down. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if you want, you can use some stickers or maybe cut something on your machine, but I just wanted to write that down using my handwriting. It's not perfect, but I like it. And now I'm gonna add that "Oh Christmas Tree" to that, and we're gonna let that dry completely before gluing it to our piece. And if you know me, I really like those exclamation marks. So I'm gonna add 2 because I always use 2. And I'm gonna add those because it's a really happy "Oh Christmas Tree." And we add those 2, and then we move on to attaching our burlap to our dowels. Just a little bit of hot glue and just press it down, and that will be it. Then we're gonna move on to gluing our Oh Christmas Tree sign to our piece, and that will be it. You will have a beautiful rustic tabletop decor. And this is how it turned out. As you can see, I have